If white doesn't do anything, he'll slowly end up in a passive position. But my move order is always... I'm always blowing this move order. Knight f3, c5, b3, and I continuously play knight c6 here, which is wrong. I did this against Sebe Attila 2 years ago in the GM tournament. I think I'm supposed to play d6 right away in this position. Not waste time on knight c6. So Jim is here. He knows b3. There was something wrong. After knight c6, Sebe tricked me somehow. Got a good position. I'm not sure, Asterbane, what do you think about bishop b8 versus bishop c7? This doesn't seem right for white. He's playing like Zuckertort or something. All your money and all your eggs in one basket. I'm a big believer in the center, and I think you should probably try to undermine my center somehow. I'm not sure if it's possible. Maybe it's too late. b4. This looks ominous. My center is so strong, but how do I break through? Ominous. Now bishop b8. Feels like it would have been better. In retrospect, I know you like the bishop b8. Gives you the cheapo queen c7. Front-loaded battery. Okay, so I wasn't even thinking about the Greek sacrifice here. I could have just taken on d4. Would he just hang that pawn? It's a sacrifice. There was this guy Uncle Potato yesterday in the streamer battle where he just hung a key pawn in the center in the middle of the game, and I didn't take it. Then he crushed me like a grandmaster. It was the only opportunity I got, and I just missed it. If it wasn't for that, I would have thought he was an engine. But it's nice to know your opponents are human. I could never accuse him of being an engine. He just like basically blundered his whole position in this one pawn on c5 or c4, middle of the game. They laughed me out of the... But I mean, that's a good way to cheat, actually, if you're going to cheat. Just make like one or two like obvious blunders you can recover from, probably. Queen. I mean, e3. This has got to be good. It's a strange moment to do it now, a little bit. I admit, a little bit of a strange decision, but it seals him off. It really ought to be winning for black. Sealer, sweeper. I could have done it earlier. It almost seems too late. It's like, what? It's the King's Indian. No bishop c2, bishop Bishop d1, bishop c2, queen h7, please. Preparing knight g3. Might actually work. Sealer. The king's Indian bishop. Now he's trying to run away. It's a good decision. But this does look pretty strong. Well, it seems like a little bit of an early resignation, but I don't know. I have check. I mean, the engine says I'm winning. I have lifts with rook f6. I might have screwed up the move order. I wanted to do it like this and play like rook f6. Yeah, it works. He doesn't have any defense. I had a game very similar to that in the team battle. There's no knight f5. There's no team battle 2 weeks ago. But that's too much space. I think white, oughtn't to close the center. Maybe. I'm not sure if I like f3 or not, though. I mean, you may already be... I thought this was the key move. The Wang Yu with black against Li Chao here in 2017. And that looks really interesting. I thought this was unclear. I would have played knight e5 as well. So, whatever those guys do. Knight e4, I didn't even consider. Wow. Knight e4, fe4, queen h5. What is the idea here? Now queen h5 check. How does this work? g6 takes. King f7. How's your development doing? Oof. What happens on bishop c4 now? I guess we always have knight f6. Bishop c4, queen c1 check? Is there still hope here? Amazingly, this is like a mating attack. Alright. That's a cool game by Li Chao, though. Well, you don't have to go into, like, sacrificing on e4 like white did in that game. Or Li Chao was white. Whatever. Hanisberger. Mahar. How do I pronounce that? Mahar. Mahoar. I'm not sure. Downhill. Yeah, but I think like technically my move order might be inaccurate. I got that idea from Richard Palliser, who wrote this book on beating the flank, or beating, flank openings 15 years ago. But I think his recommendation was not to play knight c6, but to play c5 and then d6 on the second move, not to waste time with knight to c6. Somehow there's a reason why that's like slightly inaccurate. Let's try something different. I've been playing like the Bogo Indian and d4, knight f6, e6, bishop e4 check all the time. We need to mix up our d4 repertoire a little bit. Guys, tomorrow we have our weekly team tournament, Pawn to Blitz Swiss 6. So join us for that. Let's try a little Gingy Indian. The Hergot, we used to call it in New England. Canadian IM Dean Hergot first imported it. Gingy later took credit for it. Alright. Where is everybody? 20 viewers. Come on now. You sent me a challenge. Go easy on you. Ooh, let's keep it casual. Epriashi Doctor. I played this against in 1997, I think. But the Doctor played Queen B3, which I think is a better move than Queen C2. There's more active plans. You might have Queen B5. It's just a better square. And surprisingly few downsides of Queen B3. I mean, I understand the idea of controlling E4, but it's really hard to get that in. Jim, Azerbaijan drew me in the Simul yesterday. It's amazing. You weren't here, right? It was an amazing achievement. Our first draw in 173 games. It wasn't really a very drawish position, of course. He'll never really draw. It was like a draw in a chaos position by repetition, ironically. I never pegged Azerbaijan to have the auto 3-4 repetition turned on. I even willingly allowed 3-4 repetition because I thought he'd have it on manual and decline. No, but honestly, Azerbaijan, I just never imagined you would have it turned on. We never had a draw before. I mean, I just assumed you had avoided it like the plague. Alright, now it looks like Hanischberger almost knows what they're doing here. But still. He did draw. It was very surprising. He's a draw player. Constantly playing for draws. So what do we do here? Knight e5, the big question. Knight e5 or knight b6? I don't know when to decide where to go. I'm going to do it this way. This position. Interesting battle. Chess battle bots. But if I can lock it down with e4, white might have no bishops for the rest of your life. Lock down the bishops forever. Now this is interesting. So that's a pawn sack. Wow. Hanischberger. So we want to play for more lockdown. Like a Dutch. Is this a positional mistake? Do I take there? That's a kind of deep conception from a 1500. But Hanishberger did really well in our team battle. He's not playing like a 1500. We're going to start to get complaints from other teams about this Hanishberger guy. Keeps playing like he's 2000. He's too good for this rating. Maybe hard for me to make progress. Roman loved this kind of block position where he could just maneuver indefinitely. Basically like a Nimzo. I mean, I guess we're good. Just a question of whether we can break through or not. It looks like white is at a standstill. I don't think white can do anything, barring an unsound piece sacrifice. It's a question of whether black can break through. I'm a little concerned about that subtle last move. I mean, if he ever played d6, I can blockade with e6. Or we can play knight d6 directly now. Or just shore it up with like queen c7, queen a6 maybe. Queen a6 is an interesting square. Doesn't seem like a 1500 playing white. I don't know. I gotta make some kind of concession. Okay, he can get an a5, but it's not a big deal, you know, even if he does. He might not even want to do that, objectively. This is a headache for both sides. I'm not sure about bishop a3. Might be a mistake. Might be a good move. Bishop g4 is like positional brilliance. He can still do bishop g4. At least now my b7 is protected. I could play bishop g4, f3, which could be double-edged. But now that's it for that plan. Queen a5 is kind of dangerous. Back again, forcing him back. That doesn't look good for white. Actually, this is kind of a bluff, but not 100% bluff. Maybe we just pick off the a-pawn like Botvinnik in the Winnower, go back, hit and run. Though it might give him counterplay. You know, you may not want to win this pawn. It ends up giving white kind of annoying pressure down these lines. I know how to play blindfolded, but I haven't done it in a long time. White just collapsed. I think blindfold takes practice. People that are really good like specialize in that. Gareev, like Koltanowski did. I don't think like the average grandmaster is necessarily good at blindfold. Some are better than others. Still, it's not easy to make progress here. I think if I actually practiced, I would be like a decent blindfold player. Maybe not great. But I did do like a simultaneous exhibition. I can't remember how many boards it was though. I think on the stream I claimed 6, but it might have only been 4. It was so long ago that I can't remember how many people I played. I remember once I had a match with someone who was a good player, 2100, strong 2100. But it's been 20 years since I played blindfold chess. I really attempted to do it. I would have to relearn it, honestly. At this stage. Check. Gotta be a way to win this. B4 takes C3. It's impossible to like break through. Those bishops really get in the way. It's unbelievable. An unbelievable situation here. I can't find a way to break through. He's having a little bit of a hard time though. How are your bishops doing over there? Set up for the next game. But that's the strategy we're looking for. Frustration of bishops. Oof. All right. It worked. It works better than, you know, against some players than others. But it's a really, really close position. Yeah, that's basically what the strategy is. But you see sometimes title players look like fools. There was this one FM I played. Similar position a couple weeks ago in the streamer battle. He berserked against me with white, and I did a Gingy Indian type of thing. And after like 30 moves, he couldn't move any of his pieces. When it gets bad, it gets really bad. Like, it almost looks like you don't know how to play chess against this type of strategy. It is a nice mate. Queen sacrifice, stylish. Anna the pro best. Sorry, Anna, I can't play Atomic. Don't know. Mahar. And Jim. Alright, Jim is a subscriber, so we'll take him first. And then Mahar next. I should have taken Jim's challenge before. If you guys are subscribers to the stream, we'll try to play this correctly. If you guys are subscribers to the stream, please, am I doing this wrong again? What am I trying to say? Those who are subscribers to the stream can play first. I think that's what I was trying to say. Not really sure. Jim's a longtime subscriber and supporter of our stream. Thank you, Jim. So, Bent Larson versus Bent Larson. Raise your hand if you've ever like been really bored on summer vacation or something and played chess with yourself. I had this problem when I was a kid. We would go away and I had no one to play chess with. You sit there with the chessboard and then you try to play a game against yourself objectively. Do you think that's strange? What do you guys think? Here's the because I'm talking about pre-internet days, right? This never happens to anyone anymore. When there was no internet, or the internet was not public yet, you had to play chess with real people. Yeah, because of smartphones. I would play games against myself, and it was so hard to like remain objective. Like you always start favoring one side or the other, no matter how much you tell yourself, I'm not gonna cheat. I'm not gonna cheat for one side or the other. I'm not gonna cheat. You would always end up favoring one side. It's such an interesting sort of psychological thing. I don't know about knight c6. We're opened up pretty wide here with the 4 pawns attack. But something, again, that reminds me of Larson. I like chess players who are creative, you know? That's why I hate the London system. It's not creative. It's like the antithesis of creativity in the opening. I mean, we're all stuck in our ways to some degree, but Jim with a critical move. Imagine that. He found it. Founded it by Jim. So this is similar to our other game with Budget Man. Similar but different. I don't have a choice now. Sharp. But once again, I feel like d5 is really interesting. E takes f, d takes c6. If queen e5 check, you always have knight c3. So e takes f, d takes c, and then queen e7 check. You have king d2. And I'm getting skewered on the e file. And c6 is caving in. It doesn't look okay for black, man. It feels like you let me off the hook. The proverbial hook. How much I'm let off the hook is open to interpretation, I guess. We might see some sort of Li Chao like sacrifice here. Fundamentals of chess. Oops, I gave white the advantage. That's how I was. I was like cheating for one side or the other after a while. You start out objective, but eventually start favoring one side. It's impossible to stay neutral. That's the interesting thing about human nature. I wanted to be like Mr. Spock, you know, remain neutral no matter what. Knight e4, pawn e4, queen e5 check, g6, queen e5 check, king f7. It's Li Chao, part 2. It's like the same variation. That's crazy. Check. And then bishop g7. That'd be funny if we had almost the same line. I don't know if it's possible to play queen takes d5. It looks like might be. Kind of feels wrong though. Blobix is here in the house. Been so rare we get to see the Blobix. He hasn't been in action much. Summer chess camp taking the Blobix away from us. I want to play bishop d6, but all it ends up doing is like getting hit by knight c4. I mean, if that's the point, then what's the point? Then why even put my bishop on d6? Bishop d6 so he can hit it with knight c4 and then castles and then chop it. Still, it's a lot of time. It's a lot of time to spend on that knight. Rossador's here. Hola. Chess camp in 2 days. But there's no excuse for not being here in the interim. Family vacation. You could miss our stream for your family vacation. It's just ridiculous. Guys, speaking of family vacations, I'm going away next week. I know you're going to be sad, and I'm sorry. We're going to have some withdrawal symptoms. Bob, I know it's particularly hard, but it's only for 1 week. It's only for actually less than a week. Monday through Friday, I'm not going to be with you. Please try not to cry or be too sad. I'm going for 5 days. We're going for a staycation within the country. Actually, Antony in August is going to be playing a tournament at the end of August in Italy, and he told me about that, and I would love to go to Italy to play. But it's just too much. I've got this week. I'm taking off. And then, what do I do? God damn it, Jerry. This doesn't make sense. Again, there's a problem with my bishop on d6. I knew it should have gone to e7 all the time. This guy is tricky. Seriously? I want to put it on c7, but then bishop a3. Screw it, I'll castle queenside. Yeah, it's weird. I mean, he can't just go bishop a3. Not so easy there, buddy. You think the Italian borders will be closed, really? By the end of August? Is there a recurrence of COVID or something? A number of good players on the list. But I can't because I'm going away this week. And then I'm going to be playing in an IM tournament from the 21st to the 29th of August. Here, very close to where I live. It's not clear how it's going to affect the streams. It'll probably affect some streams. I'm going to try to stream during the IM tournament. in late August. Maybe we'll just reduce number of streams. But I'm not going to be out completely. But next week, I will not be here Monday through Friday. Just to let you guys know to prepare yourselves for the withdrawal symptoms. Well, I kind of miss playing in international tournaments. And I've never played in a tournament in Italy. Ironically, living in Hungary for almost 15 years, for the most part, the better part of 15 years, I never traveled a lot. You know, a little bit, but mostly played here within the country. Whoa. Say what? You say what? Is that? What a maniac. Bishop takes c4 is really tempting. Bishop takes e4 is possible. What is this? I don't believe it is going on here. What an insane move. I got to accept this sacrifice. I wonder if I should play... Queen h4, bishop h2 check. You play queen h5 first? Are you even kidding me? What? He must have seen queen h4 and changed his plan or something. I can't believe this. So knight takes d4. Knight takes d4. Looks like it has something to do with queen g7. Oh my god, my time. Alright, whatever. Wait, how many pieces do I have here? What's going on? I'm up a piece. But I'm losing the exchange. Alright. Dude, Jim's blatantly playing for time. Can't believe it. Dirty dog. The bullet player that he is. His bullet player nature. This is ridiculous. It's just one threat after another. Can't believe it. Why do I have to be in such a confusing situation? Yeah, what's happening here, actually? All I want to do is, like, castle and get away. And I'm up a piece. Why is life so difficult? Asterbay knows that. Queen g7 is a strong move. Well, it sort of settles down now to equal material. I still might be worse. Good question what I should do. Take with the pawn. Not my original plan, but I think that pawn is a good investment. You know, it counterbalances his d5 pawn. But I have no idea. I don't think I'm better. Looks like unclear. Who stands better here? Very vague. Bob, were you the first ever sub? Bob has always been sub. No, I don't think so. Who is the first ever sub? Don't know. It's a good question. Diagonal of death. Rook f2 was his first and last mistake. World Loser and Jeroen. Can you look that up? A whole generation of viewers. But those guys were mods before Bob started mod hating on my stream. Nothing's wrong with Rook f7. It seems like a move. Guess he just wanted to play something less intrusive. Rook f7's a good move, Rookman. It contains a threat of rook takes here. You know, I mean, stuff like b5 is really risky. Black is only like microscopically better. So this was a really cool piece sacrifice. Sound. But I never imagined you'd queen h5 check here. That's crazy. So apparently you have f3, which is safer than giving up your dark squared bishop. You really don't want to give that piece up, you know. You know that. Anna keeps trying to challenge me to. I can't play Atomic. I'm sorry, guys. What time is it? We've got time for 30 more minutes of fun. So these 3 challenges should go through. Subscribers include El Rossador and Princess Chess. Pyrak is not. So I'll take those 2 challenges first. If we have time, we'll play the game with Pyrak. We should have enough time, just about. Play those 3, but I don't guarantee any other games. We've got about 35 minutes. Tomorrow night we're hosting a Blitz tournament. If you'd like to join, you have to join our Panda and Horses Club. Our team here on lichess. If you join the team, you can join our tournaments. It's as simple as that. Tomorrow night, 6:30 CEST. 5+3 casual. Alright, I gotta stop playing bishop g5. It's like a sickness. Speaking of not being creative, this is actually kind of a crappy exchange variation. If you're gonna play the exchange variation, you should do it on move 3. And you should do it without knight f3, but with knight c3. But he played knight takes d5, which is... well, it's basically like a semi-Tarash. So this is a sort of passive semi-Tarash for black. That should be not bad for me. But it raises an interesting question after bishop d3, knight c6, castle, castle. How do I defend my d4 pawn? I guess we don't. It's also possible to put the bishop on c4, like in a normal semi-Tarash. Jim, what happens if you played that d5 earlier? What I was talking about. Like, you may have not seen the stream, but... well, I assume you're watching the stream. What if you don't retreat your knight back after e4 and you play d5? That's what I felt, again, was best for white. I think the complications probably favor white. And if that's the case, then I did something seriously wrong. Oh, I dropped my d-pawn. Damn it. No. Just kidding. So I don't know if this is like a legit... Friday I just take random challengers. Why are you saying that? No atomic chess. Well, I mean, bishop b2 looks solid. d5 not so much. Bishop e3 is possible. But I mean, objectively, this diagonal starts to look kind of juicy. The latent power of... Would you call these hanging pawns? They're not hanging pawns. This would be hanging pawns. If my e4 pawn was on c4. a5 is a bit of a weird move. I don't know, bishop, rook, whatever. We're just randomly moving stuff. Crossover rook. The astrobate maneuver. It sounds like something from Star Trek. So our power pawn of power. Peace. Pawn of peace and power. Please leave. Maybe it's a little bit better for white now. But Rosador is trying to mobilize his queenside pawn majority. Motivate. They need some motivation. Our pass pawn is strong. I like it. There is the old, like, pawn sack with d5 of Spassky. Spassky d5 takes e5, which is commonly used in this line. There's no weak points, like, except for b7 to really attack here. Bishop e5, rook e1. If he takes, do I take back with the queen? That's kind of lame. This is starting to look interesting, the e5. Also queen d4. Queen d4 looks pretty nasty. My bishops are pointing at his king side. Pointer sisters. So it's just simply take queen d4, queen d4 f6. There's e5. I'm just gonna take. Maybe it was better to play e5. I'm gonna second guess whatever I did here. Of course. That's the nature of it. Whatever you do, second guess it. It looks like a blunder. So I grab 2 pieces for the rook. Or not. He's got this miraculous tactical save. Seriously? You're even kidding me? Do you even joke me? If I play rook takes c5, knight takes c5, you're telling me he saw like queen d4, queen f6 in advance there? That was like planned out? That's hard to believe. Just dumb luck. 99% of chess is dumb luck. You heard it here first. Chess is basically a game of luck. I mean, otherwise he's just like missing the most obvious 2-move tactic in the world. Which is unlike him because he's pure tactics. Although I think there's a lot of people who necessarily see tactics for themselves, but not for the other player. Larry Christensen, Grandmaster, is a great player, but I always felt that was his one weakness. While he was like one of the best players I ever saw finding tactics for himself, he was occasionally vulnerable to missing tactics for the other player. So check this out. The queen f6 move we were just talking about now played as a combination here. What? That's crazy. Different version and more tactics. It's just never ending. Rook c5, knight c5, queen c2, bishop d3, queen c5, queen c2, knight d3, knight b5. Does this work? Rook c5, knight c5, queen c2, bishop d3, queen c5, bishop b1, rook b1. You know, we have 2 pieces for a rook there. Looks pretty good. I don't know, I don't see it. This version is stronger than the other version. He doesn't have time to fool around here. So I grabbed a piece, I'm going to get a second piece for the rook. I mean, it shouldn't be that complicated. It should be good for me. 2 pieces are stronger than a rook. Now I look like a golfer. Is it another hair reference? Did I do it to my hair? Yes. Yes, the shampoo. It's a new shampoo, Bob. So, where's the beef? The Astrobate battery, exactly. I appear to be wearing a thin moisture wicking polo shirt. This shirt is nice and breathable. I like that. Alright. The smoke is clearing. Lock down Mr. Knight. Step by step. Lockdown measures. Oof. Rook d1. Well, d6 is a good move. Rook d1 is a good move. It's one big happy family. I think he had queen b4 there. I probably had a move. Queen e4 or something. We're all one happy family. Knight, bishop, pawn. And this queenside majority ain't going anywhere. Most importantly, no back rank mate. And ultimately we have h4, h5. That's the final part of the ensemble. Everyone's protected. No one's left behind. It's like Toy Story. Everything's protected. Bishop e3 looks good. Improvement. Improvement. Time to regroup. There are tactics with bishop f7 sometimes. Ooh, what's that? He wants to play like rook f5? Threaten us? Are you threatening me? Still protected. Everybody's protected. You can't be too careful with Rossador. Before the game's over, or when the game's over, whatever, close enough. I want to look and see when I played pawn takes d5 if I had a better move there. So he literally has no way to protect his rook on d7, right? But it doesn't matter because my b3 guy will hang. So I have rook d4, trapping his queen in mid-board. Is that good? Pure accident, but accidents will happen. When you play well, that's another important saying. When you play well, accidents will happen in your favor. The secret to good chess is random chance. Just randomly trapping his queen on b4. That was my plan all along. So wait, what's happening here? Wait, I take that? Yeah, all your rooks are hanging. So seriously, I have this feeling like the move was the push past, the other sweeper. When he played cd5, ed5 here, I think I made a mistake. My intuition keeps telling me that I should have pushed. Because I gave him defenses based on bishop f6. No. The computer likes queen d4 and e takes d5. I thought queen d4 wasn't a big deal because of f6. Strange. But then he's got a really bad endgame after queen d4 f6, I guess. computer doesn't doubt me and my intentions here. Better to play queen c2 right away. That's weird. Alright. Guys, we have time for these last two challenges. Volume shampoo. Alright. I'm going to play e4. It's getting hot. It's getting hot in here. What do I know? Knight f3. It's a Spanish? Can we play the Joker? No. You play that with white, right? Princess? Probably not a good idea. Not a good idea to play what they play. I don't know the Joker very well. Thanks, Jim Bob. Bobby Joe. Just kidding about the exchange variation. Rubbish. Exchange Lopez is rubbish. Alright. Now the delayed exchange variation, on the other hand, that's rubbish too. I just don't believe in exchanging my bishop for nothing. I don't believe in ghosts or exchange for Lopez. Thanks, Jim Bob. Good night, Jim Bob. It's like the Waltons. Nobody here is old enough to remember that show. But it was like this family drama from the 70s. And everybody said goodnight to each other. How did yesterday's tournament go? You mean the streamer battle? We finished 6th. Not too bad. Schieberspieler got his FM title unofficially. There was enough controversy. Alright, so can you go like bishop g4 here? Not really. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a slightly inaccurate move order for black, but I'm not sure how to take advantage of this. They're supposed to castle first, then white plays h3, and then play knight a5. I've seen some players play this, good players, black. I don't really know. I don't think there's any way white can like refute it, but I also don't know if there's any reason why black would prefer this move order. Padron and Tony, I told them you invited me. You're going to play in a tournament in Italy. How are the borders there, though? Are you guys open for business to foreigners? I know there's a lot of increasing cases in the last weeks in like the Balkans and Romania and stuff. So I was curious too about your immigration status, border status in Italy. Anyways, I managed to avert playing h3. I don't know if that's that big a deal. I hate closing the position, especially in Blitz. Here I would be exchanging queens on d8, forcing black to take with a bishop, with a very small edge for white. I'm not that big a fan of this, honestly. Contact tracing. So h3, land on bd2. I don't know. Whatever. If you castle now, we're back into some kind of normal line. I don't know how to take advantage of it, but I don't understand the point with black's move order either. Maybe queen c7 now could be interesting. not castling, but playing queen c7. h3 is definitely kind of weak, but what do I do? I don't want to play d5. I don't want to take. I want to just keep the tension. They're allowed in, but they're never allowed out. It's like Hotel California. The tournament is a norm tournament. Well, yeah. I mean, it's an international tournament that is valid for. It's possible to make norms. I wouldn't call it a norm tournament. That makes it sound like it's like a round robin or something. It's just a legit international chess tournament, where title norms are possible. But when you say norm tournament, you make it sound like it's a round robin intent purpose to make title norms, which is something we have a lot of here traditionally. We've had a lot of in Hungary and Budapest. You'll confuse people using that connotation. So c4 is interesting. Feels wrong to me. What if we just start chipping away at the old... This could be a huge mistake by me. Maybe I'll like lose a piece or something. ED, CD, knight b4. ED, CD, c3. The CDC. It's not so simple, actually. Maybe I'm doing this right. b4. And I'll probably have to take on e5 if b4. Feels wrong. They just set up tournaments just to allow people to get norms. Exactly. Like tournaments typically without prizes or maybe with limited prizes, but the main purpose of the tournament is to get a title norm. It's a different thing, you know. What you're planning on playing in is like a kind of normal international chess tournament where, you know, the purpose of the tournament is to have a tournament. Norms are secondary. It's just a legit tournament. The classical definition of an open chess tournament, I would say. With prizes and whatnot, and other classic accoutrements. So, there's always the threat of like knight b4, but we've got it under control here. Our center is... It's almost like the last game. But Munich. Never been a big believer in rook c1 personally, but this position, we might as well get everybody involved. Sveshnikov. Oh, you have to play the Sicilian well. That's it, I get it. Alright, e5, here we come. Yeah, maybe I underestimated this. The center. Those bishops are raging again. Raging bishops. SM, what is an SM? So the SM title, like senior master, it's not something on lichess. And SM is like a US Chess Federation made up title. I would call it like the US Chess Federation's equivalent of like FIDE Master or something, I don't know. It means people that have reached 2400 US, which is an achievement. It's kind of an unnecessary thing. I think the USCF did a lot of stuff with that. Over the years, different kind of life master too. Weird titles have very little meaning. Titles are overrated. Entitlements. The Arena International Master. FIDE Online Arena. Proud never have to made an account on that. Horrible. FIDE's mission is to siphon money out of the chess population. Overcharge for rating tournaments and titles. They can line their pockets. I'm in such a positive mood today. So here we go again. Every game I'm threatening some sort of cheapo. Just unbelievable. Asterbate taught me everything I know. So let's say we try to crack the black structure with e6 like last game. Not so easy here. I feel like my attack is a little slow. The central pawn on e5 is massive, you know. And we're threading h4, h5. Possibly e6. Possibly slower maneuvers. Like knight e4 somewhere. My only concern here is that I'm a little bit slower than I hoped. Though it doesn't look that way. It actually looks pretty strong. The build up on the king side is pretty ominous. Chipped away the black center and it's hard to defend the king side. Can't trade queens with like queen e7 because of bishop f5. So my queen just sits here really powerfully. I read that you could become a GM puzzle composer. Isn't that like what Blobix is into? Yeah, they have puzzle titles, composition titles. So Blobix is a master, FIDE master of puzzle composition or composition. I think they prefer not to call it puzzles. It's alright. It's alright. So there's a lot of games here with this move order you're using. The Elianov variation. So h3 is kind of lame. I was thinking you should play queen c7 if you really want to be accurate. But whatever. We just like transposed to some variation. It's legit. Romanician. Romanician will be playing with Antoni. You can say hi to Romanician. Alright. You have two opening legends at your tournament. Romanician and Sveshnikov. I didn't see Sveshnikov on the list there, Antoni. Alright, last game, guys. I can't take this challenge, Parak. I don't know, we'll see. I don't think I'm going to have time. If I beat Bob fast enough, I'll take your challenge. No problem at all. FIDE 1700 is like 2000 lichess. Yeah, I mean... Yeah, maybe. It seems like there's been some deflation of lichess ratings lately due to an influx of good players. I used to think it was like 200 points, no problem at all. But it's possible that because... No, I mean, I don't know. It may be just 200. It depends. You can't make the correlation that clearly. No problem at all. But obviously there's an average somewhere. Between 200 and 300 points. Probably. Somewhere. It can range. Probably need an even wider range. Like between 100 and 300. Oh, he isn't playing this year. Okay. He's getting up there. I saw Romanician on the list, though. But he's not a Sicilian guy. Romanician is a big e4, e5 expert, but other things, too. So Bob's playing the... What's it called? And Tony, we can transpose to the Cotronius preparation with d6. Or we can go for more. Perhaps a6. If a6, e5, d5, pawn takes f6, pawn takes c4. Boldler preparation. This is Cotronius' recommendation, d6. So Cotronius has a book on the anti-Sicilians, and he recommends handling the Boldler with e6. I thought it's interesting because g6 is also a possibility, but I think there's some problems with g6 in the move order. White can get in like e5 in some lines. I remember the night before my first tournament, Antonia, I couldn't sleep. I was like a young teenager, 12 or something. But I think as an adult you'll have an easier time. But it's kind of fun. Going to your first anything. Bishop e7. We all become jaded to stuff. I've played like 2,500 tournament games. It has to be in the neighborhood of that. A lot. Bob Sack, professional Boldlerist. Who will be the best Boldlerer in history? Boldler Bob. I'm not a fan of Bishop g5. I've made that very plain. This could transpose to a Roy Lopez type situation if I'm forced to play e5 in the future, though that is certainly not always the case. You started with 2050. When I started, there were no ratings below 2,200 for guys and 2,000 for women. Sexist. FIDE is sexist. And rating sexists have separate rating rules for men and women. Sue them. Alright, no, D4 Bob. Good move. It's like the Boulder Master. Boulderist. So take d5, e5, knight e4, bishop e7, something like that. My knight on e4 can get trapped. I'm not really digging that. Oh, that's sick. I can play knight takes e4. Oh my gosh. I don't think I've ever seen this tactic happen. Wow, that's an incredible move. I'm a genius. Does it even work, though? Let's see. Knight e4, rook e4, bishop g5. Well, why not? Knight e4, rook e4, bishop g5, d5. If d5, I just take. God, I'm a genius. It's unbelievable. It's the most brilliant combination ever in the history of chess. I've literally never done this. That's weird. In all the Sicilians that I've played, I've never seen this tactic. The tactic of in general of knight takes e4, but never where it like hinged on bishop takes e7, knight takes e7, take back. I guess I just haven't played enough proper Boldlers. WJ Lou for 1,000 bits. It's been a while. Gotta catch up. Good way to catch up. Come back with style. All thanks to Cotronius. But I wonder if I played this correctly or not. All thanks to my Mediterranean friends. It's a nice start, though. Perfect time for the WJ Loop donation. Things were kind of quiet around here lately. And we just started the week, and it's empty. The sub gift subs and the bit donations were empty for the new week. Yeah, WJ Loop. I was wondering where you were, but I mean, a lot of people tend to disappear in the summertime, so can't say I was entirely surprised someone wasn't here. But thank you so much for the generous donation. Now, gotta be careful. Clinging to my extra pawn booty. Now I've got 2 challenges. The second one is out of the question. Igrok Vishokmati. I play chess. I actually used to speak some Russian, but it's all a distant memory now. Work has increased, unfortunately, under new state mandates. I had to cut my staff again. Yuck. Economic problems in the United States of a very serious nature. The dollar is down and Bitcoin is up. Bitcoin crossed 10,000. Doesn't compensate for the fact that the dollar dropped massively, though. It's little compensation. I can't wait for the next $1 trillion bailout so that our currency will go completely through the floor. Gotta be a little bit careful. In any case, WG Loof, thank you for sharing. Sharing is caring, but we did think of you. In fact, I think yesterday I was wondering, I haven't seen WJ Loof in a long time. Bishop E1. Because sometimes people just bail, like they just quit chess. You know, maybe they play like a lot for... I see it again and again, very, very often. People who really get into the game for a period of time. Like I taught my roommate in college how to play for like 3 years. And he got up to a really high level, like he was 1800. And then we separated, didn't see him for years, and he just stopped playing completely. I've had this experience with a lot of people. You put all your hard work into teaching them, and then they just ghost you. This is actually not so simple, though. I feel like Bob has some crap here. Another couple people friends I've worked with over the years, they just kind of quit and never come back. I'm going to try knight f5 here. I don't know. I had a hard time deciding on a move. Freudian use of defending. Bob making me defend. I think knight f5 is pretty good, though. But I'm sorry when I work with people and then they disappear. Approximately how much work is to get from 1700 lichess to 2000? It all depends. I mean, I feel like I play with some people. Theme of the day is this mate on h7. I play with some people who honestly are, I say this sometimes, they're like 1600 going on 2000. This is kind of like a question of like why you're 1600 or 1700. I mean, why are you 1700? Are you getting better? How quickly have you reached 1700, for example? So I'm not sure it's like how much work does it take to get from 1700 to 2000? How is your acceleration up to 1700? You know, were you 1500 like a month ago? Have you been 1700 like stalled there forever? It's probably more complicated than a general answer. Depends on, you know, how long it took you to get to that point, for example. Excellent move. h3. The only chance is to take Bob out on time. He's a little like trolling a roll. He'll just sort of lose on time. I don't really have, speaking of time, I don't have time, but this is a guy who's been waiting for a game, Tarak, forever, and I feel kind of badly about it. So we'll take his challenge. He's been waiting patiently. If he's still here, he'll probably be gone. Because I said I wasn't going to play him. Played once before. Okay, I really am stretching myself. So f5, d4. I had a funny game where someone played ed4, queen d4, knight f6, and I moved my queen back. I'm so used to people attacking my queen. This is the taxi driver variation. But it's usually seen with colors reversed. I named it after a Slovenian taxi driver I played in the middle of the night in Ljubljana. But it seems like the kind of thing that all taxi drivers play. Just like non-theoretical. Typical non-theoretical taxi driver system. Good game, Bob. You're only very slightly worse. You have slight compensation for that sacrifice pawn. But I don't prefer white. So, no problem at all to answer your question. I think we need more variables to answer that question. Because everyone's different. If you've been improving steadily, you know, probably not that long. If you've been stalled at the rating for a long time, it could be quite a bit of work. A lot of work. Maybe a year, maybe more, you know. Taxi driver, the nemesis of Uber driver. It's funny. Yeah, Uber drivers are more subtle and they know more theory than taxi drivers. Taxi drivers are more kind of basic and not as finessed as Uber drivers. In some cases they do overlap. G4. Thanks for your generosity, especially WJ Loof. So I don't know, no problem at all. I mean, if you're really working on your game, I think 1,700 to 2,000 in a year. If you're really working on your game. But are we talking about like standard or blitz or what? Another question. I just mean general strength. I don't feel like there should be that big of a difference between classical and blitz and rapid in general. And Tony, though, you mentioned in preparation for your tournament something interesting. You know, that you've never played games longer than like 15-10. That's very... It's very big deal, you know. It's a long game and you have to learn to appreciate that and use that time. I mean, I can sit there and use all my time, go into like a trance. It happened to me in a tournament here in Zalakarosh 2 years ago against the Grandmaster Kovalenko. I went into some sort of trance and I like used all my time in the first 20 moves. And I had like 10 minutes against his like 90. I was slightly better, but it's like, it was ridiculous. I literally went into a trance and used like 80 minutes or 70 minutes in the time that he used 10 for the first 20 moves to get a slight advantage. You can get to that point if you really... It's not a good thing necessarily, but it's a good thing to be able to concentrate that much. Sometimes you can take it too far. I lost, primarily because of the time pressure, you know. Eventually I blundered. I had a good game, but it was ridiculous. I hadn't played in like a couple of years in a real tournament, and I had played team games, but somehow it didn't feel the same. And I just sat there and really enjoyed being able to think for a long time, but it went, before I knew it, like 80 minutes were gone. It's just, it's important to find a balance. This is a cool move, bishop e4, by my opponent. What if I tried to play d6? It's just looking overextended. I just don't know what to play. So many choices. Here I go, talking about time management and stuff. I really don't know what to play. Never lose your concentration. But you can take the time use way too far. He can try a b5 Benko type of break, which makes me want to take with the pawn. I'm even thinking of taking with the pawn here. Epriyeshi Doctor. I was just talking about this. If I take with the queen, he can play b5, try to break my center, but it's not a big deal. I should really prefer this. I might even play b4. I shouldn't damage my own pawns. I mean, this is an idea for black. I don't think he's ready to play that here. Ultimately, like, I can put my bishop on the long diagonal, command that diagonal. That's one plan. Another plan is to chip away at the center with f3. Chippy the central pawn. It's a good... Wow, so he's stopping b4. Possibly b3, a4 levers for him. b5 still not on. But primarily I want to get long diagonal. Nice diagonal. I'm like, ugh. That's the diagonal. It's an art form to learn how to use 90 minutes. I mean, I play games which are inconceivable for a lot of people now. Now b5 might become a thing. I play games that were incredibly long, and I miss that. I really miss those times. The best thing was just going to a chess tournament, being able to play games where you could play 6-7 hours game, 8-hour game even. I had nearly once. Incredible. I can win a pawn. What price pawn? He's got an excellent e5 square. So we got to win this pawn under the right circumstances. b5's on its way. I think you need to try to pace yourself. I would just try to allot my time into 10 move. Increments. It's a good positional game by Park. He kind of has compensation for the sacrifice pawn. My extra pawn is basically backward here. Maybe not such a big problem for him. He could get mated too. Not so easily. The rook, bishop or whatever it is. What am I going to do on queen g5? e3. The rook, bishop, or whatever it is. Maybe I ought to just play like bishop g2. Sense and sensibility. At the end of the day, that piece is in my face, threatening to hurt me. And that's not cool. And my bishop sucks anyway. Anyway, guys, I gotta go. Thanks for watching. Honda. Honda needed a hug. What are we doing? New ideas in chess. I'm not sure if this is the correct idea, but I'm probably happy to trade that monster off. Monstro. The E5 knight. Sense and Sensible. But Sense and Sensibility sounds very familiar to me. But why do I know that? Isn't that like a novel or something? Alright, why am I agreeing to a threefold Acerbate's been added again? Trying to get people to agree to threefold repetitions. Do I have D6? Some sort of trap? Can't repeat moves again. Wait, what? Now, I don't like this bishop ending that much. But I'm running out of time. Oh my god. Stay away from me. Whoa. Evil. He's evil. Well, I'm slightly better pawn up, but how do I win? That's how. You get a lucky gift. Alright guys, that was fortunate. I think he can probably very likely hold a draw by blockade in that position. Not sure I was winning. I gotta go, guys. Good games today. Thanks everybody for playing. Thanks to WJLu for the donation. Thanks to Bob for being one of our first subscribers of all time. Anyway, guys, I'll see you tomorrow for the Blitz tournament, 6:30 CEST, Honda Swiss Blitz 6. I'll send another reminder to all the members of the team and let you guys be reminded about our stream tomorrow night. Thanks, everybody. Oh, bye-bye, guys. Have a great one. My head is kind of tilted right now. I need to readjust my stuffing. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.